Chapter 4. The Sky Beyond the Universe. If even the higher planets in this universe are subject to birth and death, why do great yogis strive for elevation to them? Although they may have many mystic powers, these yogis still have the tendency to want to enjoy the facilities of material life. On the higher planets, it is possible to live for incredibly long lifetimes. The time calculation on these planets is indicated by Sri Krishna. Sahasra yuga paryantam aharyat brahmano viduhu ratring yuga sahasrantang tehoratra vido janaha. Quote, by human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together is the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. Unquote, Bhagavad Gita 8:17. One yuga covers 4.3 million years. This number multiplied by 1,000 is calculated to be 12 hours of Brahma on the planet Brahmaloka. Similarly, another 12-hour period covers the night. 30 such days equal a month, 12 months a year, and Brahma lives for 100 such years. Life on such a planet is indeed long, yet even after trillions of years, the inhabitants of Brahmaloka have to face death. Unless we go to the spiritual planets, there is no escape from death. Avyaktat vyaktayaha sarvaha prabhavanchahar agame rajya game praliyante tatraiva vyaktasangjake. Quote, when Brahma's day is manifest, this multitude of living entities comes into being, and at the arrival of Brahma's night, they are all annihilated. Unquote, Bhagavad Gita 8:18. At the end of the day of Brahma, all the lower planetary systems are covered with water, and the beings on them are annihilated. After this devastation, and after the night of Brahma passes, in the morning when Brahma arises, there is again creation, and all these beings come forth. Thus, subjection to creation and destruction is the nature of the material world. Bhutakramaha sa evayang budva budva praliyate rajagame vashaha parta prabhavachahar agame. Quote, again and again the day comes, and this host of beings is active, and again the night falls, O Partha, and they are helplessly dissolved. Unquote. Bhagavad Gita 8:19. Although the living entities do not like devastation, that devastation will come and overflood the planets, until all living beings on the planets stay immersed in water throughout the night of Brahma. But as day comes, the water gradually disappears. Parastasmat tubhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yahasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashatsu na vinashati. Quote, yet there is another nature, which is eternal, and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme, and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Unquote, Bhagavad Gita 8:20. We cannot calculate the extent of the material universe, but we have Vedic information that there are millions of universes within the entire creation, and beyond these material universes there is another sky which is spiritual. There, all the planets are eternal, and the lives of all the beings on them are eternal. In this verse, the word bhavaha means nature, and here another nature is indicated. In this world, we have experience also of two natures. The living entity is spirit, and as long as he is within matter, matter is moving, and as soon as the living entity, the spiritual spark, is out of the body is immovable. The spiritual nature is called Krishna's superior nature, and the material is called the inferior. Beyond this material nature, there is a superior nature, which is totally spiritual. It is not possible to understand this by experimental knowledge. We can see millions and millions of stars through a telescope, but we cannot approach them. we have to understand our incapabilities. If we cannot understand the material universes by experimental knowledge, what is the possibility of understanding God and His kingdom? It is not possible experimentally. We have to understand by hearing Bhagavad Gita. We cannot understand who our Father is by experimental knowledge. We have to hear the word of our mother and believe her. If we do not believe her, there is no way of knowing. Similarly, if we just stick to the Krishna conscious method, all information about Krishna and His kingdom will be revealed. Parastu bhavaha means superior nature, and vyaktaha refers to what we see manifested. We can see that the material universe is manifested through the earth, sun, stars, and planets, and beyond this universe is another nature, an eternal nature, avyaktat sanatanaha. This material nature has a beginning and an end, but that spiritual nature is sanatanaha, eternal. It has neither beginning nor end. How is this possible? A cloud may pass over the sky, and it may appear to cover a great distance, but actually it is only a small speck covering an insignificant part of the whole sky. Because we are so small, if only a few hundred miles is covered by cloud, it appears that the whole sky is covered. Similarly, this whole material universe is like a small, insignificant cloud in the vast spiritual sky. It is encased by the Mahatattva, matter. As a cloud has a beginning and an end, this material nature also has a beginning and an end. When the cloud disappears and the sky clears, we see everything as it is. Similarly, the body is like a cloud passing over the spirit soul. It stays for some time, gives some byproducts, dwindles, and then vanishes. Any kind of material phenomenon that we observe is subject to these 6 transformations of material nature. It comes into being, grows, stays for a while, produces some byproducts, dwindles, and then vanishes. Krishna indicates that beyond this changing, cloud-like nature, there is a spiritual nature, which is eternal. In addition, when this material nature is annihilated, that avyaktat sanatanaha will remain. In Vedic literatures, there is a good deal of information about the material and spiritual skies. In the 2nd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there are descriptions of the spiritual sky and of its inhabitants. There is even information given that there are spiritual airplanes in the spiritual sky, and that the liberated entities there travel about on these planes like lightning. Everything that we find here can also be found there in reality. Here in the material sky, everything is an imitation or shadow of that which exists in the spiritual sky. As in a cinema, we simply see a show or facsimile of the real thing. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that this material world is but a combination of matter modeled after the reality. Just as a mannequin of a girl in a store window is modeled after a girl. Every sane man knows that the mannequin is an imitation. Sridhar Swami says that because the spiritual world is real, this material world, which is an imitation, appears to be real. We must understand the meaning of reality. Reality means existence, which cannot be vanquished. Reality means eternity. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha, ubayor apidristuntas, tvanayus tattvadarshibhihi. Quote, those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent there is no endurance, and of the existent there is no cessation. This seers have concluded by studying the nature of both. Unquote. Bhagavad Gita 2:16. Real pleasure is Krishna, whereas material pleasure, which is temporary, is not actual. Those who can see things as they are do not take part in shadow pleasure. The real aim of human life is to attain to the spiritual sky. but as Srimad Bhagavatam points out, most people do not know about it. Human life is meant to understand reality and to be transferred into it. All Vedic literature instructs us not to remain in this darkness. The nature of this material world is darkness, but the spiritual world is full of light, and yet is not illumined by fire or electricity. Krishna hints of this in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 15:6. Na tat pasayate suryo, na shashanko na pavakaha, yad gadva na nivartante, tatama paramang mama. Quote, that abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by electricity. One who reaches it never returns to this material world. Unquote. The spiritual world is called unmanifested, because it cannot be perceived by material senses. Avyaktukshara ichuktas tammahu paramangatim yang prapya nanivartante taddama paramang mama. Quote, that supreme abode is called unmanifested and infallible, and it is the supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Unquote. Bhagavad Gita 8:21. A great journey is indicated in this verse. We have to be able to penetrate outer space, traverse the material universe, penetrate its covering, and enter the spiritual sky. Paramangatim, that journey is supreme. There is no question of going a few thousand miles away from this planet and then returning. This sort of journey is not very heroic. We have to penetrate the whole material universe. This we cannot do by spaceships, but by Krishna consciousness. One who is absorbed in Krishna consciousness, and who at the time of death thinks of Krishna, is at once transferred there. If we at all want to go to that spiritual sky and cultivate eternal blissful life, full of knowledge, we will have to begin now to cultivate a Satchid Ananda body. It is said that Krishna has a Satchid Ananda body. Isvaraha Paramaha Krishnaha Satchid Ananda Vigraha. Brahma Samhita 5:1. And we also have a similar body of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. But it is very small and is covered by the dress of matter. If somehow or other we are able to give up this false dress, we can reach that spiritual kingdom. If once we can attain that spiritual world, return is not necessary. Yang prapya nanivartante. Everyone then should try to go to that Dham Paramam, Krishna's supreme abode. Krishna himself comes to call us, and he gives us literatures as guidebooks and sends his bona fide representatives. We should take advantage of this facility given to human life. For one who reaches that supreme abode, penances, austerities, yogic meditations, and so on are no longer required. And for one who does not reach it, all penances and austerities are a useless waste of time. The human form of life is an opportunity to get this boon, and it is the duty of the state, parents, teachers, and guardians to elevate those who have acquired this human form of life to attain this perfection of life. Simply eating, sleeping, mating, and quarreling like cats and dogs is not civilization. We should properly utilize this human form of life and take advantage of this knowledge to prepare ourselves in Krishna consciousness, so that 24 hours of the day we will be absorbed in Krishna and at death at once transfer to that spiritual sky. Purushaha saparaha partha pakchalabhyas tvananyaya yashantaha stani bhutani yena sarvam idang tatam. Quote, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading, and everything is situated within him. Unquote. Bhagavad Gita 8:22. If we are at all interested in reaching that supreme abode, the process as indicated here is bhakti. Bhakja means devotional service, submission to the Supreme Lord. The root word for bhakcha is bhaj, which means service. The definition of bhakti given in the Narada Pancharatra is freedom from designation. If one is determined to get out of all the designations that are attached to the pure spirit soul, and which arise due to the body, and are always changed when the body is changed, one can attain to bhakti. Bhakti is realizing that one is pure spirit and not matter at all. Our real identity is not this body, which is simply a covering of the spirit, but our real identity is dasa, servant of Krishna. When one is situated in his real identity and is rendering service to Krishna, he is a bhakta. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Majalila 19:170. When our senses are free from material designations, we will utilize them in the service of the master of the senses, Rishikesha or Krishna. As Rupa Goswami points out, we have to serve Krishna favorably. Generally, we want to serve God for some material purpose or gain. Of course, one who goes to God for material gain is better than one who never goes. But we should be free from desire for material benefit. Our aim should be to understand Krishna. Of course, Krishna is unlimited, and it is not possible to understand him. But we have to accept what we can understand. Bhagavad Gita is specifically presented for our understanding. Through receiving knowledge in this way, we should know that Krishna is pleased, and we should serve him favorably, according to his pleasure. Krishna consciousness is a great science with immense literatures, and we should utilize them for the attainment of bhakti. Purushaha sa paraha. In the spiritual sky, the Supreme Lord is present as the Supreme Person. There are innumerable self-luminous planets there, and in each one an expansion of Krishna resides. They are four-armed and have innumerable names. They are all persons. They are not impersonal. These Purushas, or persons, can be approached by bhakti, not by challenge, philosophical speculation, or mental concoctions, nor by physical exercises, but by devotion without the deviations of fruitive activity. What is the Purusha, the Supreme Person, like? Yashantaha stani bhutani yena sarvam idang tatam. Every living entity and everything is within him, and yet he is without, all-pervading. How is that? He is just like the sun, which is situated in one place, and yet is present all over by its rays. Although God is situated in his Dhamma Paramam, his energies are distributed everywhere. Nor is he different from his energies, inasmuch as the sunshine and the sun are non-different. Since Krishna and his energies are non-different, we can see Krishna everywhere if we are advanced in devotional service. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. Quote, I worship the original personality of Godhead Govinda, whom the pure devotees, whose eyes are smeared with the ointment of love of Godhead, always observe within their hearts. Unquote, Brahma Samhita 5:38. Those who are filled with love of God see God constantly before them. It is not that we saw God last night, and he is no longer present. No, for one who is Krishna conscious, Krishna is always present, and can be perceived constantly. We simply have to develop the eyes to see him. Due to our material bondage, the covering of the material senses, we cannot understand what is spiritual. But this ignorance can be removed by this process of chanting Hare Krishna. How is this? A sleeping man may be awakened by sound vibration, although a man may be, for all intents and purposes, unconscious. He cannot see, feel, smell, etc. The sense of hearing is so prominent that a sleeping man may be awakened just by sound vibration. Similarly, the spirit soul, although now overpowered by the sleep of material contact, can be revived by this transcendental sound vibration of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna is simply an address to the Supreme Lord and His energies. Hare means energy and Krishna is the name of the Supreme Lord. So when we chant Hare Krishna, we are saying, O energy of the Lord, O Lord, please accept me. We have no other prayer for acceptance by the Lord. There is no question of praying for daily bread, for the bread is already there. Hare Krishna is but an address to the Supreme Lord, requesting Him to accept us. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself prayed, Ainanda tanuja kinkarang, patitang mang vishame bhavambudo, kripaya tava para pankaja, stita dhuli sadrishang vichinchaya. Quote, O son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servitor, and although I am so, somehow or other I have fallen in the ocean of birth and death. Please, therefore, pick me up from this ocean of death, and fix me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Unquote, Shikshastaka 5. The only hope for a man fallen in the middle of the ocean is that someone will come and pick him up. If someone just comes and halts him but a few feet out of the water, he is immediately relieved. Similarly, if we are somehow lifted from the ocean of birth and death by the process of Krishna consciousness, we are immediately relieved. Although we cannot perceive the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord, His name, fame, and activities, if we establish ourselves in Krishna consciousness, gradually God will reveal Himself before us. We cannot see God by our own endeavor, but if we qualify ourselves, God will reveal Himself, and then we will see. No one can order God to come before Him and dance, but we do have to work in such a way that Krishna will be pleased to reveal Himself to us. Krishna gives us information about Himself in Bhagavad Gita, and there is no question of doubting it. We just have to feel it, understand it. There is no preliminary qualification necessary for the understanding of Bhagavad Gita, because it is spoken from the absolute platform. The simple process of chanting the names of Krishna will reveal what one is, what God is, what the material and spiritual universes are, why we are conditioned, how we can get out of that conditioning, and everything else step by step. Actually, the process of belief and revelation is not foreign to us. Every day we place faith in something that we have confidence will be revealed later. We may purchase a ticket to go to India, and on the basis of the ticket we have faith that we will be transported there. Why should we pay money for a ticket? We do not just give the money to anyone. The company is authorized and the airline is authorized, so faith is created. Without faith, we cannot take one step forward in the ordinary course of our life. Faith we must have, but it must be faith in that which is authorized. It is not that we have blind faith, but that we accept something that is recognized. Bhagavad Gita is recognized and accepted as scripture by all classes of men in India, and as far as outside India is concerned, many scholars, theologians, and philosophers accept Bhagavad Gita as a great authoritative work. There is no question that Bhagavad Gita is authority. Even Professor Albert Einstein, such a scientist, read Bhagavad Gita regularly. From Bhagavad Gita, we have to accept that there is a spiritual universe which is the kingdom of God. If somehow we are transported to a country where we are informed that we will no longer have to undergo birth, old age, disease, and death, will we not be happy? If we heard of such a place, surely we would try as hard as possible to go there. No one wants to grow old, no one wants to die. Indeed, a place free of such sufferings would be our heart's desire. Why do we want this? Because we have the right, the prerogative to want it. We are eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge, but having been covered by this material entanglement, we have forgotten ourselves. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita gives us the advantage of being able to revive our original status. The Shankarites and Buddhists claim that the world beyond is void, but Bhagavad Gita does not disappoint us like this. The philosophy of voidness has simply created atheists. We are spiritual beings, and we want enjoyment, but as soon as our future is void, we will become inclined to enjoy this material life. In this way, the impersonalists discussed the philosophy of voidism, while trying, as much as possible, to enjoy this material life. One may enjoy speculation in this way, but there is no spiritual benefit. Brahma bhutaha prasanatma na shochati na kankshati samaha sarveshu bhuteshu matbhakting labate param. Quote, one who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Unquote, Bhagavad Gita 18:54. He who has progressed in devotional life and who is relishing service to Krishna will automatically become detached from material enjoyment. The symptom of one absorbed in bhakti is that he is fully satisfied with Krishna.